Hello and welcome to the WriteCome.com podcast, where we help you to make money from your words. Each episode will be sharing tips, tricks, and strategies you can use to make more money from your writing, publishing, and marketing to your fans and audience. Let's get started with your host, Barry J. McDonald.
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very welcome to today's podcast episode from WriteCome.com. And today's podcast episode is entitled, Take Your Reader Out of Your Writing. Now, that probably seems like a contradiction in that if you are going to put any writing content out today, any written content, either on your social media platforms or on maybe your books and fiction or non-fiction, you probably are thinking, well, I should keep the reader in mind, in that I should give them content that they are going to enjoy, and if they enjoy it a lot, maybe there's a good chance maybe they'll leave me a nice book review, or they may share my content with someone else. So it's probably only natural that we should keep the end user in mind when we are creating any content. And again too, it's not just written content, it could be audio content, an MP3 files, or a podcast episode, or it could be maybe in a video. You're thinking of your end viewer and how they are going to see you in that video, and if they're going to enjoy that video, and again possibly if they are going to give you a nice review, or they are going to share it with your following. So you're probably thinking about what the end user is going to see as they are listening or reading or viewing your content. But unfortunately, sometimes when you do take in your reader, your listener, and your viewer into your content creation, it does sometimes throw a spanner in the works. Now, what I found this past couple of days as I've been recording my morning videos, the more I think about my end user, it does really affect how I create my videos. Sometimes when I am just sitting in the car on my own and I've just got a camera in my hand and there's only me just talking to a camera, when I actually start thinking about the end viewer, are they going to like this video? What are they going to think about me in this video? Are they going to slate it? Are they going to give me a nice comment? Are they going to learn anything from it? Are they going to share it? And the more I have those questions, and the more I am bringing my end viewer into my content creation, it does really sway me in that I will probably not be as relaxed in camera as I should be. I'm probably saying to myself, well, you said that really stupidly. You should re-edit that and you should do it again. Or why did you even talk about that? Because that person is going to be maybe you're going to embarrass yourself in front of that person, or you're wasting your time actually by talking about that. And it really does sway you. So if you are creating some content today, maybe a tip I could give you would be to take out the end user. Forget about the reader that is going to read your word today. Forget about the podcast listener who's going to listen to your podcast episode, and forget about the viewer that is going to watch your video on YouTube. And just solely focus on the blank page in front of you, or the blank page on your laptop, or just solely focus on the microphone you are speaking into, or just solely focus on the camera that you are staring into, and forget about the end user. Because when you do that, it does take a lot of pressure off you. If I am just looking at this microphone here and I just not really caring about the podcast listener on the other side, I'm probably going to feel far more relaxed, because okay, maybe somebody may listen to this podcast episode, maybe nobody will listen to this, but I am just recording this episode from me, and because I am not putting any stress on myself, not really caring about the podcast listener on the other side, that I do put on a really great show. I do hope maybe that I am sharing some good tips and tricks with you in these episodes, but if I keep you out of this conversation in my head, it's going to take a lot of stress off me. It's going to allow me to speak more freely, maybe put more of myself into this episode, maybe things I might have never thought of sharing before, because I am thinking about you. I may talk about maybe some things have happened earlier on in my life, or maybe life lessons I've had, or whatever, but because I am not thinking about you, I am going to feel more relaxed. And even too in your fiction, sometimes when I used to write fiction pieces, and I used to do maybe some of my Western romance books, the more I thought about, can I really put that in a book? What is the reader going to think about me if I put in this scene where maybe this character is assaulted, or maybe there's a scuffle in the bedroom, whatever? How is the character, or how is the reader going to view me as an author if I put in kind of a sex scene or something like that? Are they going to view me in a certain way? And the more I kind of thought about what the reader would think in my book, the more I kind of held back on my writing, because I was worried what they would have thought about me. And I probably would have written maybe better books. I probably would have seemed far more relaxed in my fiction writing years ago if I had have kept the reader out of the content I was creating and just wrote the type of book that was coming through me. Just let it all flow out on the page, And again, if they didn't like it or they did like it, that didn't really matter to me. I just had to get that content out of me and get it on the page. So keep that in mind today if you are struggling maybe with your fiction writing or maybe your podcast episodes or your videos. If you are stressed out when you're writing today or you're recording or your whatever it is you are doing, it could be possibly that you are bringing too much of your reader, your viewer and your listener into your content today. And because of that, then it's really affecting you. You're not as relaxed and maybe you're holding yourself back and maybe you aren't going to come across as well in that material because you are afraid of what the other person is thinking about that. So what I want you to do today is just to take that reader out of your content, take that listener out of your podcast episode, or take the viewer out of your videos and just record as if nobody is ever going to come upon this piece. And when you do that, as I said, it will free you up. You will feel more relaxed to do it, and probably more of you is going to come across in your piece because you do that. So keep that in mind today if you are struggling with worrying about what everybody else is thinking. So as always, if you'd like to reach out to me, if you'd like me to cover anything in a podcast episode, or again too, hopefully maybe I have taught you something today and maybe you'd like to share it with somebody else. If that is the case, if you do see a couple of social media buttons close by, if you just click on a few of those and share it with your following, I would greatly appreciate it. Or if you would like to maybe get into fiction writing or self-publishing or maybe podcasting or whatever, if you want to go over to Writecome, that's WRITECOME.com, you'll find all my content all over there. So as always, take care of yourself and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more from the Writecome.com podcast, be sure to subscribe now for more tips, tricks, and ideas you can use to make more money from your words. See you in the next episode.